All right, I guess we can get going here. Welcome back to Sports Dump, Lewis County's only sports podcast. We're sponsored by Elam's Home Furnishings and Mattress Gallery, Goebel Septic and Americool Heating and Air Conditioning, and the Farm Store. For the third year in a row, we gather the week after state championship weekend to recap two area teams losing in the state title game at Husky Stadium in Seattle and present a eulogy on the 2025 prep football season. Both Toledo and Tumwater lost in the state finals on Saturday, and the sports crew was there to witness both games. You guys were staffed up. You had full staff.
We were busy.
5 people up there covering 2 games. How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, it was 4. It was 4 for the first one and then 5 for number 2.
Okay.
I mean this with all due respect to our local schools and their fields, but anytime we get a chance to cover a game in Husky Stadium,
Gotta load
might as well, right?
Yeah. It's like
You have the opportunity.
it's like prep sports writer prom up there this weekend, or at least it used to be.
the granddaddy of them all.
Yeah, it's the big one.
That's not what people are saying.
I know. That's what I'm
We're
saying.
saying about the 4A game, but we'll get to that.
We'll start with top seeded Toledo, which lost to number 3 Tri-Cities Prep 48-37. The Riverhawks were up 20-7. And
Is that score right?
Yeah, no,
I
47.
mistyped that score.
47-34.
Yeah.
Are we sure?
Close enough.
Who could say?
47-34.
Because we were all there.
It was 47-34. That's my bad.
Toledo was up 20-14 at half, but 2 turnovers, a failed kickoff return attempt, and 20 straight points from Tri-Cities Prep put Toledo down 34-20, and with 3 minutes left, Toledo had the ball down 41-34, but a pick 6 ended their championship hopes and the season. Zach talked to Mike Christensen and a couple players afterwards. And Zach, how were they?
Sad.
No.
Before I dive into what Mike and Carter, Swafford, Eli Weeks, Adam Kruger said, I don't know about Rube, you might agree with me on this, but the way it all happened, did it feel like adding in the state basketball finals last winter, just the collapse of everything and the chance of a state title just ending before, a celebration could even begin?
Just the sheer speed of the downfall was really just unbelievable. And we were up there with the radio guys, and they were even kind of, expressing that same sentiment too, of just how quickly it fell apart for them. Because it was going all Toledo's way the first, quarter and a half.
Mm-hmm.
TCP got that 1 touchdown late in the first half, and then as soon as the ball kicked off in the third quarter, it was just awful for Toledo. And give them credit, they did come back a little bit in the fourth and made it interesting, but that pick 6 just sucked the life out of the Toledo sideline. It was over from that point.
It was I was so stunned watching it before my own eyes, because that's not the team that we've seen all season long, and for it to spiral out of control like that just was astounding. And Mike Christensen, Toledo alum, trying to, get one back for the 96 team when he was a freshman, which they lost that state title game to in blowout fashion, not heartbreak fashion. He was sad. I mean, he was holding back tears. He kept saying, sorry to the support, to all the to the community that showed out, and he took a couple moments by himself before he chatted with me, and you could just feel the emotions of just coming down on him. And same with Carter Swafford. He was just he just couldn't believe that that's how the season ended. Eli Weeks and Adam Kruger were trying to pick up their own head. We're trying to pick up Mike, just be like, hey, because Mike took a lot of the blame. And Eli and Adam were just it's not all on him. It's on us. The players have to execute the coach's calls. So, it's a team effort of why they lost that game. But it's pretty remarkable how a team can look so good that early and then just look despondent afterwards. It was an incredible sight, really.
I really think the kickoff was we kind of just touched on a failed kickoff return. They didn't even field it because of
it was a weird bounce.
You could see 1,000 kickoffs and you won't see that bounce, but it just happened to happen. And at that point, correct me if I'm wrong, that was after 2 Toledo fumbles.
Yes.
TCP takes the lead at 27-20,
Mm-hmm.
and you're thinking, okay, we got to take a breath. We got to reset here. We're only down 7. Yes, we just fumbled the ball twice. And Nate Taylor with ESPN always says this. He always does all this analysis and all talks about it all that we do. At the end of the day, this is a silly sport where the ball isn't round and it can take funny bounces. And it took a really funky one on that one. All of a sudden, TCP scores. They're up 2 scores. And, like we said, that they were able to kind of bounce back a little bit and get that one final shot. But that pick 6, I mean, I was down there right on the sideline, just
It was a bad
myself
throw.
included, just the 1,000-yard stare of everyone just being like, oh, that's it.
It was such a bad throw too. Like, and Eli even admitted that it was not like he was trying to lob it over the linebacker, and he knew that he would pop out and be in front of Adam, but he was trying to lob it over him instead of dart it. So Eli admitted it was a bad throw, and it was probably one of his worst throws of the season, and he picked the worst time to have it.
When Dylan, you've mentioned this a couple different times in the postseason about just that snap moment that it's over and this is how it ends kind of thing. That's like the epitome of that feeling. Just wow, this is how it ends. And I think they scored the 3 touchdowns within like
Within like
4 minutes.
Yeah, 4 or 5 minutes of game time.
It was unbelievably how quick it happened. And then the fourth quarter seemed like it was a little bit more back and forth. And got to give Adam Kruger credit. They did get a chance late there. I think they were already down 2 scores again by the time.
Yeah,
and
I
the
think that
clock
was their
ticking
last
down.
possession.
I think it was too. And they
Made
threw
one
it up
hell
in
of a catch.
triple coverage. Made an unreal
Yeah.
catch that I didn't even think he had until they were starting to move toward the goal line. And it was amazing to see, the effort still there from the kids, even though I think everybody in the building, in the stands knew that, an absolute miracle would have had to have happened. But
What confuses me about that is so you get that catch, and Toledo still had 2 timeouts.
I believe they only had one timeout.
I think they
scoreboard
Because the
was
scoreboard
wrong.
said 2,
Okay,
and
but
there
they
was
only
talk
had-
about that on the field because obviously they ran a couple plays and the clock was run the whole time. I don't think the scoreboard updated after the Toledo second timeout because there was conversation amongst the
Okay.
officials and people near the Toledo sideline, which is obviously a tough.
Because
You know,
I was
obviously
under
they know on the
because
sideline, but
myself and
the
then
confusion.
Trotter and Bob Dow, who were on the radio call, we were all under the assumption they had 2 timeouts, so we had no idea but it makes sense then why they only had one, that they only had 1 timeout and could only stop it once. Then
I got something else, but I forgot. So credit to TCP though. That I saw TCP twice now. The semifinal against Adna and the championship game against Toledo. The team that showed up on Saturday at Husky Stadium would have beat the team that played Adna by 30. That was a night and day. Like hindsight's 2020, obviously. I've only seen this team twice over a 15-week season or whatever it was. And they just didn't put their best foot forward against Adna, but they were able to get out with a win. I could see why that team made the run that they did and beat Toledo, because that team we saw on Saturday deserved. I mean, credit to them. Obviously, they took advantage of everything, and they just looked twice as good as they did the week before. I was surprised at, considering what I had seen, but small sample size.
All right. At the end of the road, Toledo finishes what, 12-1, 13-1?
12-1, yeah.
What if you'd taken the Toledo players, coaches, staff, and set them aside back in August and said, "Hey, this is how your season's going to end"? What do you think they would have felt?
I'd still think they feel this way.
Yeah.
At the start of the year, and this has been brought up.
Was making the finals and what's like a state title or bust situation for them, or were they just hoping
They felt like this was a really special season, they had talked about the Wenatchee camp they went to over the summer where they played a bunch of higher classification schools, and they left that and felt like this season had a chance to be really special. And in their mind, special was state championship. I think looking back, maybe they'd be really happy to get to a finals or to the state championship game, but I think in their mind it was a state title or bust situation. Just with how they talked, how confident they were, how much swagger they had all season long. Like, it just felt like a team that was on a mission to win a state title, and for it not to happen, it leaves a not a failure taste, but it leaves a really, really bitter taste in their mouth.
All right. This podcast is brought to you by Goebel Septic, providing septic service and portable sanitation for Thurston, Lewis, Mason, Cowlitz, and Grays Harbor counties. Septic pumping, septic inspection, septic riser installation, commercial septic pumping, grease trap services, and of course, they'll rent you a porta potty and the sink to go with it. Visit goebelseptic.com, GOEBEL septic.com, or call 360-736-2167. And moving on to the 2A state championship game. Number 2, Tumwater lost to number 1, Archbishop Murphy, 35-20. I would like to be the first to congratulate the 2A seating committee for getting it perfectly correct.
Yeah.
The T-Birds fell behind 14-0 before getting on the board and eventually trailed 28-7. But Mason Housekeeper had a scoop and score that got him back within a score late in the fourth. And then a Jack Severs touchdown put Archbishop Murphy back up 2 scores and iced the game. Rubes, you talked to Tumwater coach William Garrow and a couple seniors after. How were they?
Yeah, I think Garrow was really kind of just reminiscing almost, it felt like, when Zach was there as well. Like, it just kind of seemed like the whole last 3 years were kind of just dawning on him of like, we're in this position again, this feeling again. And we talked about it quite a bit on the drive back. Like, this one felt like this was the closest that they got. They had just a couple plays. I think Garrow said this as well, that they were just a couple plays from really getting back in this game. Obviously, they got back from, I think it was 28-7, like after the first play of the fourth quarter. They score a couple quick ones. They're down 8, but they just never got that big play to get, tied. They never trailed, or they never led in this one, which is crazy to think about for a Tumwater team, the way that they play football. They're not really designed to come back from a deficit like that in the fourth quarter, but they did, and they made some plays, just not enough plays. But Garrow he took a lot of accountability, as much accountability as I think I've seen any of our coaches ever give. I talked to Jackson Budd. I talked to Peyton Davis as well. They kind of were also reminiscent just of how rare the opportunity is to be at 3 straight state title games. Obviously, they all said they want to win 1, 2, 3, whatever the case might be. But to be able to accomplish that, it's just a rarity in sports, regardless of sport, to be able to go there 3 times in a row. And so they were very appreciative of just the team that they had and the core they had. They had a pretty small senior roster. I think it was, 17 kids, something like that, 16, 17 kids?
15, yeah, something. Somewhere on those double digits, yeah.
But there was a lot of power and strength and leadership behind that senior group. And, Tumwater will always reload. They don't have to rebuild, but there's going to be a lot of key pieces that they're going to be missing next year.
All right. This podcast is brought to you by Elam's Home Furnishings and Mattress Gallery. Did you guys know that sleep is personal and you should find your fit?
I did
We
not.
should.
Well, now you know. Find your fit with Bedgear. Bedgear uses innovative technologies to create mattresses and bedding that fits your sleep temperature, body type, and sleep position. And you can do all your Bedgear shopping at Elam's Home Furnishings and Mattress Gallery. Check them out on, where'd the rest of my Elam's ad copy go? It's all the way down here. Check them out online at elamshf.com or visit 1530 South Gold Street in Centralia to learn more. Get yourself some bed gear. So with football and fall sports officially in the rear view, we can now officially and fully, well, before we officially and fully turn to basketball.
Did I put officially twice? What was I on when I made these notes?
I don't
Anyways.
When's the all-area football team dropping?
Next week.
Who's the MVP?
Do we want to release that yet?
No.
No.
I was testing
I
you.
feel like it's pretty obvious, but yeah, we'll keep it under wraps for now.
Ah, couple candidates.
Zach
couple
is the
candidates.
football MVP.
Wait a minute.
With football, all right, let's basketball. We've begun to make
Where
the
the
rounds.
ball is round.
Yeah,
We're so
finally,
back.
and bounces predictably every time. We've begun to make the rounds across our area teams, including the Centralia girls, who started the season 4-0. Dylan saw the Tigers in their opener against R.A. Long. Dylan, how are the Tigers?
How about them Tigers?
Go Tigers.
They looked really solid. They've won a couple close ones since, but when I saw them, they just took it to R.A. Long from start to finish. They seem to have a really solid senior core. Ayana Sacedo, Mackenzie Erickson. I believe Brooklyn Sprague is also a senior.
Yeah, Sprague is a senior.
I think that's
too.
their 3 seniors. And just defensively, a lot of teams take pride in obviously putting that full court press on, especially around here, the high school game. It could lead to a lot of success forcing turnovers and getting buckets in transition. They were able to do that really well, and it was just really fun to watch. It was kind of like a different level than I remember seeing them at last year. And obviously the question, that being the first game, is like, is this sustainable? And so far, I believe yesterday they beat the day before they beat Eatonville, and I don't remember who else they beat, but they're 4-0. Like, that's, I'd have to check to see the last time they started 4-0. I think it's as good of a start as you could expect and that they could have hoped for.
All right. And then Zach saw the WF West girls in a win over Washougal. But the Bearcats went 0-2 on a road trip that included matchups against Clarkston and Sela. Zach, how do the Bearcats look?
It's obviously a very different team. Obviously, there's no dominant post in Julia Dalen, and that leadership with her and Amanda Bennett. That's tough to replace. But Joy Cushman is back. She had an Achilles injury last year that required her to sit out all of last season. I don't think she ran track either. But she's back, and she's been putting in double-digit points pretty routinely. And it's Dylan Beck is the engine that is going to make that offense go. But they've got a couple really good scrappy players: Maddie McManus, Izzy Teeter, Dree Cushman, Joy's younger sister, who I'm saying this right now. In 3 years, she's going to break Julia Dalen's record. I just have this. She's 6'3", and I think she's going to grow. So
no pressure.
I'm putting it on the ether.
Okay.
We're going to circle back to this episode on
What a take.
December 10th, 2025.
Oh, God, I hope not.
That's
2028.
Oh, okay.
We're going to revisit this in 2028 when Dree Cushman breaks all of Julia's records. No pressure. I think they'll be fine. They got whipped by Clarkston on the road, and then they lost in overtime to Sela. But I don't think Kyle Karnofsky is going to be too worried about a couple tough losses like that. They still view this team he still views this team as a group that can get to Yakima, that can hopefully play on Saturday. But I think this will be a more wide open EVCO with Centralia playing well and a couple others playing well. So it's going to be a tough road, and with only 3 district state spots, you never know how it'll shake out come February and March.
All right, the Black Hills girls are also off to a quick 5-0 start. Rubes will be covering them tonight. It is Wednesday. How do they look? They got the Venable kid that's scored all the points.
Yeah, she's been really solid so far. I'll be chatting with her a little bit tonight. They've been really running the offense through her. I think she had 39 one game, 34 the next
another,
game.
Yeah.
She's been
20 something last week too. Yeah.
Yeah. When she's been one of the best players in the league since she stepped on the floor as a freshman as well. And so to see this, elevation in her game has been really cool to see. So I'm excited to see them tonight.
And early on to Natalie Buchanan. I mean, I haven't seen them in person yet, but just based off the box scores that I've been getting sent, it seems like she stepped into a bigger role nicely. I'm assuming she's been playing kind of down low just by some pictures I've seen. And by the box score, I think she had a double-double last week, or if she didn't, she's been getting really close. I think she's emerged as a solid 2, and they have a lot of other solid role players around them that seem to have them moving in a positive direction.
All right. In the C2BL, Rube saw Onalaska take down Rainier in an early season non-league clash. What stood out to you about that one?
Yeah, I think both teams were expectedly sloppy, especially in the first half. Just shots couldn't fall, nothing but turnovers. And then the third quarter, Onalaska kind of figured it out a little bit. Shots started falling for Emily Jacoby, Leighton Underhill, Kaya Sandridge. Nothing but transition after Rainier turnovers. But the fourth quarter, this Rainier team is going to have some growing pains. There's a lot of new kids in the starting lineup. Only one returning starter, and that's Lexi Becksman. She's a freshman. She was an 8th grader starting all last year. But 4 seniors graduate from a team that won the district championship last year. It's going to look different. New head coach as well. But there were some flashes in the fourth quarter. They were down, I think, 17 at one point, a couple different points, and they showed some fight. They created some turnovers on defense. They blocked some shots. A couple shots fell. So they have some pieces. It's just experience is going to be the best teacher for Rainier. So I'm excited to see. There's so much young pieces on that team. They're probably going to have some trouble against some of the top teams in the C2BL this year. But I think there's a lot of potential for Rainier. And Onalaska, I think they'll only be getting better at this point in the year. That was game 2. I think there's some turnover problems for both teams, especially for Rainier. But Onalaska, I think will be one of the top teams in our league again.
All right, Ruby also saw Napavine beat Raymond South Bend. How did the Tigers look in their opener?
Similarly sloppy. They won
early season basketball.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much
back.
you can say. There's, obviously there's a lot more of a veteran presence in Napavine than the other 2 teams I was talking about. But Schutz was telling me that there's just a first game jitter that this core can't seem to escape. even though they've been through, state championship games and fifth place games and all this. It's just that first game of the year. They just got to get out of the way. And, credit to them. Hayden Kaut played really well. She scored 24. I think she missed like 4 of her 5 first shots, and most of the rest of them fell, it seemed like, especially in the fourth quarter. But defensively, they create a lot of havoc. I think they're going to be a fun team with their guard play that they have. And Hayden Kaut, I think, is going to be our best player in our area.
I was just going to ask, is Kaut the front runner for C2BL MVP?
I think so.
Probably, yeah.
All right. Elsewhere in the C2BL, Dillon saw Adna win its opener against Mark Morris. What do the Pirates have? What did Santa Claus bring Adna this year?
Riley Beebe, Maddie Otten,
Emma Kistner.
Emma Kistner. I think she moved, though, is what I heard. But anyways, her family. Anyways, also they also have, I believe it's Tiander Olsen, but she's
Montesino.
out for the year, I believe, with a knee injury. So she's like the team manager this year, and then she should be back for her senior year.
The transfer portal giveth, and the transfer portal taketh away.
Yeah, they looked good. Obviously, they still have McKenna Torrey there as well. I think she's going to kind of be
the former Monster Rock point guard.
Yeah, but she the scoring was spread out pretty well. The game I was at, I think BB and Torrey were both in the mid to high teens. And then a couple days ago, Saturday, I think, they went up to Annie Wright and put up a good fight. They only lost by like 15 or so. Tori had 27, including 6 threes. So I think that showcases kind of the potential that she has to kind of emerge as their one alongside, BB and Otten and Hadley Gerard got some varsity minutes, if I remember correctly. That might have been later in the game too, but yeah, I still think they'll be solid. We're gonna find out, right? They're playing Annie Wright. They're playing. I've forgotten their entire schedule though.
I think they got Tumwater this week.
They got Tumwater. they have a lot of tough non-league games, and he does that on purpose. Spanish does to set them up and see what he has early.
Yeah.
I think obviously they're not going to. I don't think reach. I'd be surprised if they reach the heights of the last couple of years just because of how talented that senior class was. But I still think this is easily a team that could compete for, to be towards the top of the league, if not the top, and grab one of those state spots potentially.
I think they've got as big a gap to fill as anybody in Carson Freeman. And might I add, Raymond South Bend transfer, just to add to the Adna transfer portal haul that they've had last couple of years.
The funny thing is, if you say this to Banish, he'll break out like a spreadsheet.
Oh yeah,
with the top 5 players on every team in the league and where they came from and all the transfers.
Yeah, it's not just them. No, we're not just trying to single them out.
No, it's not just an added. He's got the whole Charlie from Always Sunny corkboard.
He has shown me the doc in the Adna's coach's office before.
You have seen the Banish files.
I have seen the Banish files. Not as hardcore as the Epstein files, though. I did take a quick look at those.
Oh, you got a gander at those too.
Yeah, look, I'm just saying. There's a certain someone in this podcast studio that questionable.
What on earth?
You're just like,
I'm not touching this with a 50-foot pole.
Are you referencing Schwartz's news dump takes?
Listen.
Well, you looked at the files purely from you were like, how does it make financial sense to charter a plane to this island?
Well,
anyway.
Basketball.
Future CPA over here.
Through a week and change, Morton White Pass and Tudor Lake are the last unbeaten teams at 3-0. Toledo and Mossy-Rock are 2-1. And in the 1B, Zach got a chance to see PL beat Rochester, which is a 1A team.
Correct.
Handily.
Yeah. PL is still good.
Can you speak into the mic?
Am I not?
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. PL
you were doing this spinning in your chair, kind of talking to the wall.
Listen. There's a lot
I'm trying.
If you're going to spin, take the mic with you.
All right, fine. PL, still good.
Okay, great. On the boys' side, Zach saw the WF West boys start their season with a win over Rochester. How did the Bearcats look?
Didn't we talk about this already?
No.
Did we?
I think we did. Either way.
No.
Okay, whatever. WF West looks good. Rochester, young, rebuilding. A lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores.
Okay. Dylan got a chance to see the Centralia boys play the Aussies. Thoughts?
Aussie.
I really liked just like very non-descriptive. Like they also played Tenino, and I just left the headline as Australians take down Tenino with no other context. I found some joy in that. Really fun game to like watch and not really be a part of, but just kind of be there, right? Like it's this a stacked Australian team, might add. They had a guy listed at 204 centimeters because they do that over there. He's 6'7". He's 6'7.5". He's draining threes. They got this short guy in the corner draining threes. It's 9-0, 90 seconds.
How tall was the short guy? Like 180 centimeters? What's the exchange
You can
rate?
name a number. I don't know. And then afterwards, just hearing some of the stories and seeing them all interact. You know, these guys have been. I mean, Centralia AD Tim Ahern has had 4. I think they were all hosting all of them. You know, for about a week. All these families just welcoming these people from Modbury, Australia, which is a suburb of Adelaide, and it had like 20,000 kids, or not kids, sorry, 20,000 people, or something like that. Yeah, it's just kind of a cool showcase into the relationship that those two schools have. Josh Lowe, former Centralia AD and principal, set it up in 2010. It was every other year until COVID kind of just screwed everything up. Did it again 2 years ago, and then this year, obviously. Just kind of a cool experience. Obviously, it's cool for the kids from Australia to get to come over here, and they're making their way south. I think they're at Oregon right now. And then obviously the Centralia kids just to get that experience and you know, interaction with kids from a different culture. And it's super, you know, stuff that doesn't matter. But I was like, so it's like Christmas. And it's like really hot down there. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, weird.
Well, we had, for one of the kids that played at Centralia a couple years ago, like stayed. It was just an exchange student at Centralia and also played basketball. He was like an all-league point guard. Like he was pretty good.
Yeah.
And back when Brandon Hansen was here, was it Hansen or Beatty? I think it was Hansen. I can't remember. Anyway, we had just started the podcast, and so we invited him to come over and make his Vegemite sandwiches and record an episode like that. And so asked him all these. Yeah, we had a great time.
Missed opportunity on our part.
Get those.
You ever had Vegemite? So what did you think of the Vegemite? Have you
terrible.
Two had Vegemite?
No,
I didn't like it either.
I've never had
Salty.
Vegemite.
I didn't like it either.
What even is
it's
it?
not great.
I don't even know how to. It's like a jam-ish.
It's like it's kind of like a yeast jam. Not great.
It's a way to sell it.
Salty and black.
What? Okay. Pass.
Yeah. Anyway, this podcast. Oh, and then in the 2Bs, Zach had to beat Winlock, and you talked to the Salmies, and they were like, "Cool."
Pretty much. Stay tuned.
State
That's
golf
all.
champion, Trevin Salmi.
Yeah, state champion Trevin Salmi.
Not a transfer.
Not a well.
Well,
I mean,
maybe.
Salmi is a Valley guy, so
And
if you go back far enough,
Oh, okay. It just trickles down.
yeah.
Gonna
Where
end
are they
up-
really from? This podcast brought to you by Americool Heating and Cooling. Your comfort is their business. If you have an emergency and it's too hot or too cold, call them at 360-669-8963. You can also call them if it's not an emergency, just to be like, what if it gets too hot or too cold? Visit west.americool online to learn more about all their HVAC services.
I'd like to think that there's like a ton of people right now that are like, I will call that, and even though it's not an emergency, and then they just get like overflooded with like, they're like, can you stop calling us, please, sir? We need to keep this line clear for reals.
We have too much business. We already talked about all area. When I've already forgotten when that's coming out. Next week?
Sometime next week.
Yeah, next week.
All right. Ridley and Dylan won grid picks, 123 and 38.
Second straight year with a tie.
I was one game back, and Zach was one more game back, and then Rubes was 117 to 44. Sorry, Rubes.
How far back did Chad finish?
93 and 68.
30
He was
games
30
back.
games back.
Still above 500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that grid picks recap has been brought to you by the Farm Store. Our friend, go to the Farm Store and get some, fence posts, maybe chickens or whatever. They get all kinds of cool stuff.
Time to ask the yearly question: do we keep rocking with grid picks through basketball?
No.
No.
And
that would be.
See, my year is almost complete. It's December. It's getting cold. I hear the no in response to grid picks basketball. We put up the Christmas tree. I don't want to do it either, just to be clear. But wait.
We will, of course, we should do bracket challenges for playoff basketball.
Yeah.
That'll be
Those are fun.
Tis the season, everybody.
I will try to follow it a little bit better this year so I know what's going on.
I still owe Aaron, 4 beers? 2 beers?
Oh, yeah. What was
Ridley said you all owe us beers for the grid picks.
Excuse what? No. Pause.
What was our bet?
It
Wasn't
was
your
like,
bet
it
like
was
it'll be
Adna and Napavine boys meeting in the semifinals in Spokane. And then you asked me to double down with it for the girls, and I said no, and then that actually ended up happening.
Yeah, well.
Oh, well. Tough scenes.
We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll go to Spokane this year. I'm not going to go to Spokane this year.
I'll
be there.
Don't say things you'll regret saying later.
Anything else you guys want to talk about? Any cool stuff?
About how I'm going to take you down in the fantasy playoffs this week.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to check out our lineups real quick?
Sure.
Who's the winner get? Does the winner go on to play
What was
Zach?
seeds are you?
I think it's
No, I'm the 1 seed, and I play Watson in the first round.
Oh, there's no first round buys. Oh yeah,
No.
8
I'm
teams
the
made
7. I
playoffs.
got Cody this week.
Oh, I just whipped Cody last week.
Thank you.
That's because he had 3 on bye.
Yeah, well, he should have.
Bijan's been on his bench since week 1.
Yeah.
Auto Draft State is the 2 seed.
The winner would get the
yeah.
winner of the Dylan Cody game.
Ooh, okay.
All right. So yeah, Rubes is hoping.
God damn it, Drake London's already ruled out. I hate it here.
Josh Allen, Josh Jacobs, R.J. Harvey.
put up-
Your precious Amon-Ra St. Brown
put
that
up-
you wanted to trade.
Yeah, I don't regret that.
Well, we'll see if you regret it when Derrick Henry goes off against Cincinnati this week.
Derrick Henry.
I put up 195 last week. I'm feeling pretty okay. So
Yeah,
I'm ready to go off for 72.
Hold on, hear me out. Too many points.
Yep, scored too many
It
points.
might have been.
Gotta save some for this week.
You flew too close to the sun.
I'm good for a nice 72 points this week.
Wait, hold on, Aaron. How many did you score last week? Didn't you score like 110?
I scored 133 last week.
That's also a lot of points. Here we go.
Wait, no, that was just the previous matchup. I don't know how many I had last week.
I did finish just the highest scoring team in the league though.
Hey,
Oh.
that wins you nothing.
In
It
my,
doesn't.
I have a very positive update about my punishment league that no one asked for.
Oh yeah, with the hat that we're not going to discuss. What
I
it says.
finished 7th. I only missed the playoffs by a game because of that stupid AJ Barner tush push touchdown in like week 10 or whenever that was. But shout out my friend Zane, or my buddy's friend, my buddy's brother Zane,
Your acquaintance.
my acquaintance Zane. Because I won, he was almost certainly destined to finish last unless he won by 56.2 or more. He beat Latarian by 59 because Jalen Hurts turned the ball over 5 times.
You know a person
So
named
shout out
Latarian?
Latarian. I do.
And now Latarian finished in last.
Or like Lastarian.
That's a bar. I'm going to use that.
All right, we're going to wrap it up there. We'll talk to you later.